The recipe for the gluten-free stuffing is 1 cup of yellow cornmeal. I use gluten-free. You may use regular if you like. The results will be the same. And a half a teaspoon of baking soda. About 6 ounces of sour milk. I have about 6 ounces of milk, and I add about a tablespoon of vinegar to that. You can use white vinegar, apple cider vinegar, either will work. A half teaspoon of salt and a couple of drops of vanilla, 1 egg, and a half a stick of butter and honey to sweeten. You may use sugar too. If I were using sugar, I would probably use about 2 tablespoons. And there you have it. For my stuffing, I usually brown my butter. I mean, you can use any kind of fat you want to in your cornbread stuffing, but I would suggest butter. Butter just makes everything taste better. Your cornbread should look something like this before it goes in the oven. You want to pour it into your skillet on low heat. Cook on 420 for about 15 minutes. Your cornbread should look something like this. We only use 1 cup of cornmeal, so it should be relatively thin, and I want it like that. Should be able to turn it over, see how crisp it is on the side. And so if you were using 2 cups, you would also lengthen the time. It would take longer than 15 minutes. You might be looking at 22 to 25 minutes. I like to cook my cornbread on a higher temperature because I like it to brown at the bottom. And even with that, sometimes I have to put it on broil to get the brown crust on top. I couldn't help it. I have to have me a little piece with butter right now. It's so good. Okay, right here I have about 6 or 7 ounces of frozen stock from a chicken that a fryer that I baked about 2 weeks ago. And so what I did, there was a lot of fat on top, so I just removed part of the fat. The rest is frozen stock underneath, and I'm going to put it in my gluten-free dressing. Here we have our 2 Cornish hens submerged in a saltwater brine. I've added, of course, salt, olive oil for moisture, 2 bay leaves, a purple onion, garlic, and sage. Okay, I've seasoned the Cornish hen with paprika, coriander, black pepper, garlic granules, sage, and thyme, and that's usually what I use for any kind of baked chicken or roasted chicken. I'm going to stuff them with 2 cloves of garlic, 2 cloves of garlic, and I'm going to use this little bit of onion from my brine. We don't want to waste anything. And there's a little bit of sage in there. That's not going to hurt anything. I'll put a bay leaf in each cavity. And then I'm going to just stuff as much of the carrots and celery as I possibly can. I'm going to do the same for the other one. What are you doing, son? We don't have to, it's not going to ruin the video. Come on, just stay with me. Okay, and then I'm going to turn them over in the butter and olive oil skillet. Oh, I might have to add a little bit more on that. And bit more. And so, got quite a bit of salt on it already. I'm just going to add a little bit more of this. Get a little more color. Like I said before, I'm going to start it out on about 425 for about 30 minutes, and then I'm going to turn it down. I'm going to turn it over. See, look at that. See that crust. Really cracky. But it's going to even get browner than that. Okay, so it's not dry. It's not dry at all. So I turned it on high heat to begin with to sear in the juices. And so I'm going to brown this side. I need to I took the carrots and the garlic out of the cavity, so I'm going to set it aside because I'm going to use that in my gravy. Okay, finishing up, I'm going to saute my vegetables for my dressing. I'm going to continue to use the sage. I measured about a tablespoon, and then like a heaping teaspoon of garlic, and probably a half cup of onions and a half cup of celery. I'm going to saute it in a half stick of butter, and then I'm going to add 2 eggs. So I'm sauteing my veggies. It's smelling really good and fragrant. Oh, it's so good. I can eat this by itself. It's wilting. It's kind of translucent, the onions on you see. So I'm going to continue doing this for about 2 or 3 more minutes. Okay, I'm adding the sauteed veggies. Okay, I've added the frozen stock. I'm going to stir it a bit. I'm going to add my 2 eggs. I hope I have enough stock. I think I will. I hate adding water. I hope I don't have to do that. I don't think I will. I'm going to add my 2 beaten eggs. I'm adding about 2 more ounces. Well, maybe that's about 3 more ounces of the broth. It doesn't matter if it's frozen or jelly-like. It'll all come together. At this time, I guess if you wanted to add more sage, you could. I think I'm cool. And if you're not using the fresh, 1 tablespoon will probably be sufficient for just a small amount of stuffing. I'm going to just pour this into a buttered dish, and some people think that it has to be just really soupy, in order to be moist. I don't think so. I think if you have enough eggs and you have a real rich stock, homemade stock. I'm not knocking the store purchase stock, but I'll show you in a little bit when it's finished. Since everything is better with butter, I top it with a little bit of butter, and it gives it a nice crust. The hens are done waiting on the stuffing. Mixed about a half a tablespoon of tapioca with probably 3 tablespoons of whipping cream. I'm going to blend that really cold and just blend it cold. Make it gravy. Need to add a bit more sage to my gravy. It's really rich and creamy. I love it. Add my boiled egg. Oops, I'm making a mess. Stop. This is how the finished stuffing looks. It baked at 400 for about 30 minutes. A very moist stuffing. See how moist that is? The Cornish hen is amazingly tender. This is the finished product. It cost me about $15 to make and about 4 hours of my time. Thanks.